You stand at the edge of a decision, longing for a door to open, desperate for direction, for purpose, for something more than this life has given you. And here you are, restless, anxious, pulling at every handle, trying to force your way through. But have you ever stopped to ask, who is holding the key? It is not you. You with all your striving, you with all your planning, you with all your desperate attempts to make things work on your own. And yet, time and time again, the doors you push against remain shut, and in your frustration you cry out, wondering why nothing moves, why nothing changes. But hear this truth: you were never meant to open the door yourself. There is one who sees beyond your short-sighted ambitions, one who knows the path that leads not to your temporary comfort, but to your eternal good, and he is not slow in opening doors. He is precise, he is wise, he is perfect in his timing. Oh, how many have ruined themselves by rushing ahead. How many have forced their way through doors they were never meant to walk through, only to find destruction on the other side. A good opportunity is not always the right opportunity. What glitters is not always gold. You think you know what is best for your life, but your vision is limited, your heart is deceitful, and your wisdom, if it stands alone, is nothing but foolish. Wait upon him. When he opens the door, it will not be by accident, it will not be by manipulation, it will not be by the schemes of men. No, when he opens the door, it will be by his power, and no one will be able to shut it. And when he does, walk through with confidence, not in yourself, not in your abilities, but in the one who goes before you. For the path he sets before you is not merely for your success, it is for his glory. It is not merely for your comfort, it is for your transformation. Do not force what is not meant for you, do not grow weary in waiting. The right door will open, and when it does, you will know it was never your hand that turned the key. You stand at the threshold, looking at a door you so desperately want to open. You shake the handle, push against it, knock with all your might, but it does not move. Frustration builds, doubt creeps in. You question everything, your abilities, your worth, even the goodness of the one who holds the key. And so, in your desperation, you begin to take matters into your own hands. You plan, you strategize, you manipulate circumstances, believing that if you just try harder, if you just push a little more, surely the door will open. But what happens when it doesn't? But what happens when it doesn't? This is where so many falter. They convince themselves that the right door is whatever door they want most, whatever opportunity seems most convenient, whatever path appears most rewarding in the moment. And so they fight. They fight against time, against obstacles, against the still small voice inside them that tells them to wait. They refuse to see the closed door for what it is, a sign, a protection, a divine delay designed for their ultimate good. Instead, they view it as an injustice, as a punishment, as an obstacle to their happiness. But the truth is this: you were never meant to open the right door by your own strength. It has never been within your power to force what has been divinely ordained. If the one who holds the key has not turned the lock, then all your efforts will be in vain. You can push, you can pry, you can even break your way through, but you will not find the blessing you are expecting on the other side. How many have walked through a door they were never meant to enter, only to be met with emptiness, with pain, with regret? How many have grabbed hold of something they thought was good, only to realize too late that it was never meant for them? You must understand that a closed door is not a rejection, it is a redirection. It is not proof of neglect, but evidence of care. The one who sees the end from the beginning knows what is behind every door. You only see the surface, the immediate, the temporary shine of what looks appealing, but he sees beyond that. He sees the consequences, the hidden traps, the burdens you are not ready to bear. He knows which doors lead to life and which ones lead to destruction. He knows which opportunities will shape you into who you are meant to be, and which ones will only feed your pride, your selfishness, your desire for control. Yet despite this truth, many refuse to wait. They grow impatient. They listen to the voices around them that say, if you don't act now, you will miss your chance. They buy into the lie that success is in their hands alone, that the future depends on their own ability to make things happen, and so they force their way through. They take shortcuts, they make compromises, they abandon what they know is right in order to seize what they want in the moment. But no amount of striving can replace what is given in perfect timing. No amount of ambition can create a door that was never meant to open. The struggle, then, is not in finding the right door. It is in trusting the one who holds the key. It is in surrendering your own desires, your own timelines, your own expectations, and saying, I will wait, I will not force. I will trust that what is meant for me will not pass me by. That kind of surrender is not weakness, it is strength. It is the greatest act of faith to lay down your own will and believe that what is ahead is greater than what you are leaving behind. And when the right door does open, you will know. You will not have to pry it open with desperation. You will not have to bend the truth to make it fit. It will open in a way that no one else can take credit for. It will not be your doing, but His. And when that happens, when you step through, you will see you were never waiting in vain. The delay was never a denial. The closed doors were never a punishment. They were preparing you for the right path, the one that could only be walked through by faith, not by force. You think you know what is best for your life. You make plans, set goals, and create a vision for your future, believing that if you work hard enough, if you are wise enough, if you make all the right choices, you will end up exactly where you are supposed to be. But what happens when things do not go as planned? What happens when the opportunity you were counting on slips through your fingers? What happens when the door you were so sure was meant for you remains closed? This is where many fall into despair. They believe that because their plans have failed, their future has been ruined. They see a closed door as the end of a dream rather than the beginning of something greater. They allow frustration to take root in their hearts, questioning why things have not gone their way, but have they ever stopped to consider that their way may not have been the right way, that their wisdom, no matter how great it seemed, was still limited, that their understanding, no matter how deep, was still incomplete? There's a way that seems right to a person, but in the end it leads to destruction. How often do people chase after things that look good on the surface, only to find disappointment on the other side? They run after success, believing it will bring fulfillment, only to find that it leaves them empty. They pursue relationships, convinced they will bring happiness, only to experience heartbreak. They seek opportunities, assuming they will lead to greater things, only to discover that they have lost themselves along the way. What they thought was wisdom was nothing more than desire disguised as truth. True wisdom does not come from within. It is not found in your own understanding, in your own experience, in your own ability to figure things out. It comes from the one who sees the beginning and the end, the one who knows the consequences of every decision, the one who understands what you truly need even when you do not. If you rely only on yourself, you will stumble. You will make choices that seem right in the moment but will lead to regret. You will trust in your own instincts, not realizing that they can be deceived by emotion, by ambition, by the fleeting desires of your heart. But there is a greater way, a way that is not built on human reasoning but on divine wisdom, a way that does not rely on your ability to see the future but on the one who holds the future in his hands. It is a path that may not always make sense to you, that may require waiting, that may call for surrender, but it is the only path that leads to life. When you let go of your need to control, when you stop insisting on your own way, when you surrender your plans and trust in a wisdom greater than your own, you will find peace. You will no longer be shaken by closed doors because you will know that they were closed for a reason. You will no longer be discouraged by delays because you will understand that they are not wasted time but preparation. You will no longer fear the unknown because you will walk in confidence, knowing that every step you take is guided by hands far more capable than your own. And when the right door opens, when the path is revealed, you will see the wisdom in the waiting. You will see the purpose in the delays. You will see that what you once thought was a loss was actually a blessing in disguise. You will understand that the things you once clung to so tightly were never meant to sustain you. And in that moment, you will realize that true wisdom was never found in your own understanding, but in trusting the one who has always known the way. People are always in a hurry to reach the next stage of life, to grasp the next opportunity, to take hold of whatever looks good in the moment. They convince themselves that if they do not act now, they will miss their chance. So they push, they force, they manipulate circumstances to make things happen in their own timing, believing that the outcome will justify the means. But what they fail to understand is that not every open door is meant to be walked through, and not every opportunity is a blessing. Some doors lead to destruction. Some opportunities, though they shine like gold, are nothing more than traps disguised as success. It is a dangerous thing to force what is not meant for you. How many have rushed ahead of divine timing, thinking they were securing their future, only to find themselves burdened with consequences they never expected? They took the job that seemed promising, only to realize it stole their peace and drained their soul. They entered the relationship that seemed right, only to find themselves entangled in heartbreak. They pursued a path that looked good on the surface, only to discover that it led them further away from the person they were meant to become. What seems right in the moment is not always right in the long run. Human desire is deceptive. It latches onto whatever feels good, whatever appears successful, whatever brings instant gratification. But true wisdom does not chase after what is easy or convenient. It does not take shortcuts. It does not force doors open just because they appear to lead to something better. Wisdom waits. It discerns. It understands that timing matters, that purpose matters, that the right door at the wrong time can still lead to the wrong outcome. So many people are walking through doors they were never meant to enter, convinced that they are chasing their dreams, when in reality, they are stepping into their downfall. They ignore the warning signs. They silence the still small voice telling them to wait. They convince themselves that if they do not take this chance now, they will never have another. But rushing ahead does not bring blessing. It brings regret. It brings pain that could have been avoided, burdens that were never meant to be carried, scars that take years to heal. But what if, instead of forcing your way through, you trusted in the one who knows what is best? What if you believe that a closed door is not a rejection but a protection? That what seems like a delay is actually a divine redirection? It takes humility to wait. It takes faith to say, I will not move ahead of divine timing. But that kind of faith is never wasted. It guards you from making decisions that will steal your joy. It keeps you from walking into situations that will harm you. It allows you to experience the fullness of the right opportunity at the right time in the right way, and when that right door opens, it will be different. You will not have to strive for it. You will not have to manipulate circumstances to make it happen. It will come with peace, not confusion. It will come with confirmation, not uncertainty. And when you walk through it, you will see the difference. You will see that waiting was worth it. You will see that what you once thought was a missed opportunity was actually a merciful redirection. You will see that by refusing to force what was never meant for you, you have stepped into something far greater than you could have ever planned on your own. Waiting is one of the hardest things to do. When everything inside of you longs for movement, when you see others moving forward, when you feel like time is slipping away, the weight of waiting can feel unbearable. You start to question, to doubt, to wonder if you have been forgotten. You begin to believe that if something does not happen soon, you will be left behind. And so the temptation grows to take matters into your own hands, to rush ahead, to make something happen on your own. But waiting is not wasted time. It is not a punishment. It is not evidence of neglect. Waiting is the very place where you are being prepared for what is coming. It is the refining fire that purifies your motives, the training ground that strengthens your faith, the test that reveals whether you truly trust in what is ahead or if you are only after what is immediate. Many people wait with frustration, with bitterness, with resentment in their hearts. They see waiting as a delay rather than a process. They fail to realize that the time spent waiting is just as important as the moment when the door finally opens. There is purpose in the waiting. There are lessons to be learned that can only be learned in stillness, strength that can only be developed in patience, character that can only be built in seasons of uncertainty. Rushing ahead might give you what you want faster, but it will not give you what is best. The right thing at the wrong time can become the wrong thing. The blessing you are asking for might require growth that has not yet taken place in you. The opportunity you desire may come with responsibilities you are not yet ready to handle. And so, in mercy, the door remains closed, not to punish you, but to prepare you. Look back on the moments in your life when you tried to force things, when you refused to wait, when you stepped into something too soon, only to find yourself overwhelmed, unprepared, or carrying burdens you were never meant to bear. Was the rushing worth it? Did the impatience bring peace, or did it bring regret? The painful truth is that many of the hardships people face are not because they were abandoned, but because they refused to wait. They ran ahead of divine timing and found themselves in a place they were never meant to be. But there is another way, the way of trust. The way of surrender, the way of saying, I do not see what is ahead, but I trust that it is good. It is not an easy path. It requires humility. It requires laying down your own desires, your own timelines, your own sense of control. But it is the only path that leads to peace. Because when the right door finally opens, it will not be by force. It will not be by manipulation. It will not be because of your striving. It will be clear, undeniable, and filled with the confirmation that it was meant for you all along. And when that moment comes, you will look back and see that the waiting was never in vain, that the time you spent wondering, longing, and hoping was actually the time you were being shaped, refined, and made ready. You will see that had you received what you wanted when you first asked for it, you would not have been able to carry it well. You will see that the delay was never about denial, it was about preparation. And in that realization, you will understand that waiting was never something to endure. It was something to embrace. When the right door opens, no one can shut it. No amount of resistance, no amount of opposition, no force in this world can close what has been divinely ordained. It will not be a door you have to pry open with your own strength, nor will it be a door that you have to beg to remain open. It will be set before you in perfect timing, and it will stand firm. But before that moment arrives, doubt may creep in. The waiting may test your patience. The closed doors along the way may tempt you to believe that perhaps nothing will ever open for you. People often grow weary when doors remain shut. They begin to believe that their future is slipping away, that they have missed their chance, that somehow they have been overlooked. They compare their lives to those around them, seeing others walking through opportunities while they remain in the same place. And in their discouragement, they begin to believe the lie that if they do not take things into their own hands, they will be left behind. But what they fail to see is that a door forced open is not a door secured by divine hands. If you open a door in your own strength, you will have to sustain it in your own. And when adversity comes, when the weight of the responsibility proves too much, the door that once seemed like a blessing can become a burden. The right door is not fragile. It is not something that will close on you the moment difficulties arise. It is not something that will crumble under pressure. The right door is established with purpose, with precision, with permanence. It will not require deception to enter, nor compromise to keep. It will be marked with peace, even in the midst of uncertainty. It will be marked with clarity, even when the full picture is not yet visible. And when opposition comes, as it always does, the door will remain standing, not because of your ability to hold it open, but because it was never dependent on you in the first place. So many people live in fear, constantly anxious that they will miss their opportunity, that someone else will take what was meant for them, that life will pass them by if they do not act quickly. But nothing that is truly meant for you can be taken away. No one can take what has been reserved for you. No amount of striving will bring it to you faster, and no amount of resistance from others will keep it from you when the time is right. If you trust in divine timing, you do not have to walk in fear. You do not have to be controlled by anxiety. You do not have to live in a state of restlessness, always searching, always grasping, always afraid that you are being left behind. There is security in knowing that what has been ordained for you cannot be undone by human hands. The plans and purposes set before you are not fragile. They are unshakable. When the right door opens, you will know. You will not have to force it. You will not have to prove yourself worthy of it. You will not have to live in fear that it will slip through your grasp. And when you walk through it, you will see that it was always meant for you. You will see that every closed door before it was not a rejection, but a protection. You will see that every delay was not wasted time, but a preparation for what was to come. And when that moment arrives, when you finally step through the door that no one can shut, you will understand why the waiting was necessary. You will understand why certain things did not work out, why certain paths were blocked, why certain opportunities never came to pass. Because what was waiting for you was greater than what you once longed for. What was ahead was not just about your own success, but about something far greater. And in that moment, you will see that it was never your hand that turned the key. It was always the work of divine hands, opening the way that was meant for you all along. So now the choice is before you. Will you trust in what is unseen, in what is beyond your understanding, in the wisdom that does not fail? Or will you keep striving, keep forcing, keep grasping for doors that were never meant to open? Every closed door is not a rejection, but a redirection. Every delay is not wasted time, but preparation. And when the right door finally opens, it will not be by your effort, your striving, or your manipulation. It will open in a way that no one else can take credit for. So wait with faith. Trust in the process. Let go of the fear that you will be left behind, because what is meant for you will come in its appointed time. And when it does, you will not have to force it. You will not have to hold it open with your own strength. You will walk through knowing that it was never your hand that turned the key. It was always the one who knew the right door at the right time for the right purpose. And when you step into it, you will see that it was worth every moment of waiting.